The Catholics of Oz is brought to you by the Star Quest Production Network and is made possible by our many generous patrons. If you'd like to support the podcast, please visit sqpn.com/give.
You're listening to episode 53 of The Catholics of Oz. The Catholics of Oz is a show where we discuss faith, culture, and what's been happening from an Aussie perspective. Whether it's synods or science, apostolates and apps, providence or productivity, you can hear it right now on The Catholics of Oz. Hello and happy Easter! Welcome to episode 53 of The Catholics of Oz. My name is Lindsay Sands, your host for the show. Very happy to have you with us as always, especially for this Easter-sode, I guess we could call it that. And joining me today is, as always, my Fagoli sister, that's what I call her.
Oh, I like that. That's
because that's what I'm anticipating now. So, yeah. Caroline Knights. Caroline, how are you? And more importantly, how's the Fagoli making going?
Well, I'm fine. Thank you very much. Happy Easter to you and to the listeners. And yes, the Fagoli are made and are ready to be decorated today. And I'll probably mention what Fagoli are a bit later on, hey?
Yes, can't wait to talk about it and more importantly to eat it, but that's another thing altogether. Yes, and also joining us, not a Fagoli maker, but definitely a Fagoli taster, Lino Sabol. Happy Easter, and how are you today?
I'm good. I'm very hungry at the moment.
Yeah. Well, it is 11sies.
Yeah, it is correct. It is.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. So just for our listening community, so we are recording this our time. It's actually Easter Saturday, and it's the morning. So we are anticipating the Easter Vigil Mass this evening, and the bringing in of the Easter season proper. We can't wait for that. But we're recording this as our casual Easter episode today to celebrate Easter because, technically Easter Saturday, end of Lent. So we're going to start the enjoyment now and continue the celebrations tonight at Mass. We're looking forward to that. So before we get the show on the road, just a reminder that to like anything, please, that the SQPN posts about the Catholics of Oz. And if you see any posts about our shows on Facebook or on Twitter, please share them on your own timeline so that other people can see it and that they can enjoy the casual times and the Fagoli with us, all those kinds of things. And you can find all of that at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia, and the Twitter handle is @SQPN. If you're a new listener to Catholics of Oz, first of all, welcome and happy Easter. You can subscribe to our show on Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, TuneIn, or your favorite podcast player. All of our shows are also hosted on YouTube, so just search SQPN on YouTube and you can find all the shows for SQPN there, including the Catholics of Oz. Just hit the bell to get notifications when new episodes are released. And also, please remember to leave us a lovely 5-star review on your favorite podcasting platforms. This helps us to reach other people, and this is one of the things that we're all about, is reaching out to other people, wherever they're from, meeting them through our voice and hopefully hearing back from them and hearing back from you. And having a bit of fun together while we talk about faith and science and all the other things that we talk about. So let's get this show on the road. So as I mentioned, this is going to be a bit more of this is our Easter celebration. It's a bit more of a casual episode this time. So no bumpers or jingles, just a lot of fun with us. So we thought we would actually review, although we haven't had our Easter Vigil Masses just yet, that we haven't gone to those. By the time you listen, you would have. So we wanted to review, I guess, or talk about some of the things that we've experienced during the Easter Triduum and some of the things that have happened there. But before we even get to that, Caroline, you became a godmother. Congratulations. Yay.
Thank you. Yes, I was very happy about that.
And not just to one person, but to multiple people. Is that so? You not only did you become a godmother, but you made up for lost time as well, didn't you?
I really did. Yeah. All this time.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about it, Caroline.
Yeah. So my son has a very good friend at school. Actually, both of them have a friend each in their grade who are siblings, and there's actually 4 siblings, and I'm friends with their mother. And she asked me if I would be a godmother to the 4 of them. They hadn't yet been baptized, and 2 of them are going to make other sacraments this year. And this would have been, they were going to be baptized last year, but unfortunately due to COVID was cancelled. So, so a couple of weeks ago, I became a godmother to all 4 children. They're beautiful children. I was so happy to do it. their mother said, I made their day, but they made my day because I was such a proud godmother that day. And there was no godfather, so I get to have them all to myself. So it was really good. It was such a lovely day, and afterwards we celebrated together and it was just beautiful. Such a nice thing to happen, and during Lent, so it was just all special.
Yeah, congratulations on that, and on guiding 4 people into God's family in the church.
Yes.
So it's a beautiful thing.
Oh, it's such a privilege. 'Cause I love children and I love these kids. They're good friends with my kids, and I've known them since they were very little. I've known one before she was born. There's one. She is almost 2. Another is 6 years old. Another is 9, and the other is 11. He's 10. Sorry. So it was good, and it was cute to have a baptism. Of all ages of the kids. So, the baby was able to be baptized with the water go, I could hold her and the water go on her head, and the others kind of had to lean their head into the basin.
Yes.
But, it was fun. It was really nice. Yeah.
That's beautiful. Yeah. So, Caroline, I'll keep the spotlight on you. Lino and I will talk in a moment. So we thought, as I mentioned before, we wanted to talk about some of the things that we've experienced in the lead up to Easter during the Easter Triduum. And you have been doing Easter services online and on television and so on. And Lino and I have been physically present at our parish of Holy Family. So can you tell us about some of the things that were highlights? And I think also, not even that, you also spoke about before. You said that you were going to talk about Father Rob and some of the things that he's done in during Holy Week that you've experienced. So tell us about your Holy Week experience, your preparation for the 3 days of Easter celebrations and what you've experienced so far.
Yeah. I might back up just a little because not after the baptism, my son made his first reconciliation as well.
Of course, yes. Awesome. Yeah.
Cool.
And you know what? And that's in the show notes, and I should have seen that. So
okay.
Let's back up. Tell us about Frankie's first reconciliation. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought it would be a good lead up to this. So yes, my son Frankie made his first reconciliation, and not only was I there for him, but I was also there for Mercy and Ian, which were the 2 of the children who were baptized.
Oh, wow.
And they needed a parent to be there on the night. Unfortunately, both parents were working and unable to be there because it was a Thursday evening. So, during the ceremony, a parent would take their child up to Father because the reconciliation happened on near the altar, and they would have a face-to-face there, and there'd be music playing, of course, so we couldn't hear what they were saying. So I took my son up to Father Michael and do a brief introduction, and then the parent walks down and the child does confession, then goes, lights a candle, praise their penance in front of Our Lady. There was a little kneeler there. They could do that and then come back to the seat. So there were only about 12 or so children. It was a small class this year. And so 3 of 9, 3 of 12 were mine. So I got to take up each child 3 times. I'm not sure what the other parents are thinking, but anyway, it was such a privilege to be able to be there for all my 3 children that night. So, in a way, that was a good start of the preparation before Holy Week. So,
So you became a godmother, and you had godmother duties almost immediately,
godmother
didn't you?
duties straight away. And also that week, I'll just throw in quickly that we went shopping for their Holy Communion outfits too.
Oh, wow.
So you
are right into this.
Yes, we got. I was so happy.
Yeah.
Nothing could have made me prouder. It was amazing. But yes, so getting back to how I've been getting into Holy Week and how I've been celebrating or taking part this week. So I mentioned Father Rob Galea has been doing some online prayers, and he does all masses and things like that. He has a retreat going and things. But I've always managed to catch he's been doing a different kind of prayer every day. Mm-hmm. So I caught 3 this week, and 2 while folding the washing. It just came up on my phone. I put it on. So one was the Chaplet of Divine Mercy. So we prayed along with him, the Chaplet of Divine Mercy. The next one, the Holy Rosary. So we prayed the Rosary along with him and everyone else who was online. And
Nice.
then it was Thursday that he did a benediction. He had prayers before the Blessed Sacrament. So, that went for a little while. It was really nice, very prayerful. He had one of his musicians that he works with doing some music and singing. And it was beautiful, and ended with benediction, which was really nice to take part in. And and then the relevant radio, American Catholic station, had I caught two of their Stations of the Cross, so that was good. And and we did Stations of the Cross live yesterday together, didn't we?
Yes, at our parish, yesterday morning,
parish, which was lovely. It's good to see all the parishioners all together in one big area. And
yes, just to interrupt, definitely that was a highlight. Was actually we haven't experienced in a big way all of our parishioners together. Yeah, so that was beautiful.
This last year, so so nice to participate with everyone. And and also I caught. A lot was online for me this year, except for going to the Stations of the Cross. So Thursday I watched the Mass from the Melbourne Cathedral, got to see Archbishop Peter doing his thing. He does such a nice ceremony, and the choir, and, it's so beautiful. It was nice to see people in the church, because last year when we watched, there was no one. Yeah. And then I watched the Good Friday 3 p.m. service yesterday as well from home. And that was an amazing, beautiful ceremony too. Once again, the choir, the priests who were singing, just everyone, amazing, special, beautiful, just amazing. I can't say enough how beautiful it was. So even though I couldn't be there in person, I felt like I was still there. So amazing.
Yeah, it's been good to have, if we can't be in a place in person for whatever reasons, it's been good to have access to these services in some other way, and whether it's you can access your the cathedral of your diocese or or local parish or whatever it might be, or something a special ministry like Father Rob's ministry. It's been good to have all those, to be able to access our spirituality in different ways, and to still be connected and be prayerful throughout that whole time. So nothing is lost except, I guess, there's the connection to the community and there's the physical reception of the Eucharist, but at least there is, it's not diminished. At least we have access, to these prayers. We know them well. We know these masses. We've been to them how many years in our lives, and so we don't miss out, which is great. And that, as more and more opening up happens, it's going to be even better for all of us too.
Exactly. I mean, it's obviously better to be there in person, but to have access to these online services and prayers, I think it kind of enhances or adds to being able to go as well. So if you can't go to them, go to every single one, at least maybe you can mix it up, and anyway. But I enjoyed. I think we've got more access now than we ever have had.
Yeah.
So I'm feeling like my prayer life is actually improving, because a notification will come up on my phone. This prayer's on now live. I'm like, okay, I'll press it, and I'm praying all of a sudden, just like that. So
yes,
that's one advantage.
Yeah, and there are lots of because I know that I don't know if he's doing it at the moment, but there was a time when Jonathan Rumi from The Chosen, he plays Jesus in the Chosen series. Yeah. And he was doing daily prayer. So it was always I think it was always for me at a time when I was like sleeping. So the time difference. But the thing is, it was there and there'd be notifications. You could join in and do the Divine Mercy with him. And you've talked about Father Rob and all these people who have made these avenues now available to us.
Yeah.
And how many times have we heard of a person who's found faith because a notification popped up, or they happened to be flicking TV channels, or they came across something, and it moved them in some kind of way. They felt the tug of the Spirit on their heart, and that was it. The journey began from there. There are so many. It's so great that we have this outreach. I guess that's been revealed to our church. Here are the other possibilities. To be brave and move out into the digital, the boundaries of the digital world now, and start engaging there. So it's one ministry amongst many, but it's a great ministry that our churches have started putting
I
together
guess
now.
for us, it probably started with Catholic Answers, and like we still listen to Catholic Answers and stuff. And now it's just exploded into just
it's booms,
everything. So it's amazing.
Yeah.
So good.
All right,
So
Lino,
I
I'm
guess
going to pull you off the sidelines now. You go, Lino. What were you going to say?
No, I was just going to say it's like this technology has really given us a boost in our spirituality, you know. I would say COVID's done a good thing to us.
Well, something good has come out of something bad.
Yeah, that's great. That's true. Yeah. That's true. Just a side note, I did notice on the news last night at St. Pat's, the offering plate that usually comes towards all of us to give our offering, now you can tap your phone, like paying for all that stuff, and then that's a good way of using technology in a sense now because of what we are going through. So yeah. It's just a sort of side note for that whole thing.
Yeah. That's actually a good thing, and I think that collection was for Good Friday collection is for the Holy Land and all the places.
Yes. Yeah, they did that last night.
Yeah, so good that people have that avenue. And look, let's be honest. Most people, like if we look at a decade or 2 decades from now, most people it's going to be digital payments for everything. So it's good for the church to recognize and keep up with that too, because that's going to become very important.
Yep.
It doesn't look, it doesn't look as good as dropping some money in, like to go like blip. But at the same time,
you still have to have a few coins in your pocket just to make sure you look like you put something in.
Look like you're putting something in there.
So maybe your phone could make the noise of money dropping when you tap it.
You just tap and there's the coins.
It sounds like coins. Yeah, that's right.
That's
and you make it really loud, so you sound like you're being really generous.
Everybody, the whole church is full of sounds, people tapping on their phone.
I can imagine the sound when you put it on. It's like a jackpot. Whoa, how much money are you putting in there? Hey, I can do better than that. Here we go.
I think
only kidding.
Yeah,
wouldn't distract from Mass at all.
Yeah. All right. So, Lino, as I was saying, I'll pull you off the bench now. I want to get you into the game. Tell us about and you and I have both been going to Holy Family for our Easter celebrations. So. You start off, and I'll chime in from time to time. But starting with, I guess, Holy Thursday. Anything that stood out for you from the Holy Thursday service that we had?
Totally was the washing of the disciples' feet. That was a game changer. Oh no, sorry, my bad. A changer, game changer.
Yeah, a game changer's fine. Yeah,
I know we have our traditional 12 apostles and disciples and being men and all that stuff. But how Father Michael changed it over, it was awesome. Did you see it, Caroline, or did you hear about it?
I was watching St. Patrick.
Sorry.
Yeah, St. Patrick.
Sorry, my bad.
The Melbourne one. Yeah, so I didn't.
No. Well, we'll reveal to you what happened then.
Yes, I'd love to hear.
Lino, before you do, can I just put in the just to make sure? So the washing of the feet wasn't allowed to happen because of the COVID issue. However, and Lino, I'll let you tell the story in a second. However, what Father Michael did, I thought was quite good actually too, was he chose 12 people, so like pairs of 2, and these pairs were all from the same household to wash each other's feet. So that
good idea.
Went around that. But yeah, so Lino, tell us a bit more. Sorry, I just had to put that in there.
It was I was almost in tears because especially when he explained it. So it was a mother and a stepdaughter. So that was one pair. There was another pair of a mother and a child. And the child must have been like almost 10 or 12, isn't it, Lindsay?
Yeah, possibly,
10, 12. Yep. Then there was a son and a grandmother.
Yep.
And I can't remember the other one. So
there was a mother and a daughter-in-law as well. And there was a married couple who'd been married for quite some time. I forgot, it was decades, but yeah.
So it was. I thought it was great.
Yeah.
Oh wow. I'm sorry.
He was.
Yeah.
Father Michael was. Yeah. He was quite passionate in his sermon beforehand. He was saying, the Eucharist. He was saying, this is the celebration of the institution of the first Mass. It's the celebration, of the Eucharist itself. the washing of the feet, and then he did that little trick thing that you do in a sermon. He goes, so, he goes, whereabouts in John's gospel does it talk about, Jesus, and people going, yes. And I'm like, Father, this is really cruel in a way. And he goes, no, actually in John's gospel, there is no, this is my body, this is my blood, except for John 6, but that's a different thing altogether. But he said, there's no institution. He said, it's the washing of the feet instead. And then he's really passionate. He's going, look, this is, the Eucharist is our communion with God. It's our and I'm paraphrasing very badly, but it's our spirituality. But look at the act of service that is coupled with communion. And then he said, look, and tonight I've chosen, because we can't have this, I've chosen to show you in a different way the service that we can have for each other in such a simple way. And then had these family members, and it was, like you said, Lino, it was not because it was emotional did it make it very good, but the emotion that was coupled with that for me at least, Eucharist and service in our families equals service to the whole world, was a beautiful way to explode what the Eucharist means. I think it was beautiful in that sense.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Lovely. That's really nice.
I'm out of words for that one. That was, it was so good. So good.
It was a powerful expression. And so, Lino, from here, I'll just open it up. Anything else so we had Stations of the Cross, and we had Good Friday service yesterday. Anything else from any of those that stood out to you as being pretty powerful, or something that stood out to you?
Mass was straight. You know what I mean?
I know you got to read at one point.
I was just telling Florida, why are you making me the bad guy? And she goes, you said the words, Lino. I go, oh, I did, didn't I? Oh. So, I had to deal with the other side of the Passion of the Christ.
So the narrative from John's Gospel, So you were other, yes?
Yeah, I was the other. So it was funny. Technical difficulties. I'm trying to, as I'm doing now with my podcasting, I'm trying to put my voice in the mic. So my first words were like, I'm shouting it, but no one can hear it.
Yeah.
Then I put my mouth too close, and my mouth went boom. I see people when these sounds going, and I'm just like, oh, sorry, that's a bit too loud. And then the second time, that's true. So the second time around, I read the scripture, and then I looked at it and I go, look. So what I was trying to do was I was the pilot. Pontius Pilate side of it. I was looking at Father Michael as I was saying my words to him, and I was hoping Father Michael would look at me, and I went, "Nah, it's not going to be like that." So I was just going to look at him. So they say you are he was a king of the Jews. Is this true? And Father Michael, of course, is just reading it from it, and I'm just looking at him like this, look at him like that. Not like a play, but I'm trying to not just read the words. I'm trying to, express them a bit more, but not too much, not dramatic, He goes, crucify! No, not that, not that loud. You know what I mean? But doing the read the gospel with Father Michael was cool, and also we did it again yesterday, and I was with Bernadette. Bernadette was in there later, and I was doing the other, and Father Michael was Jesus Christ, and and I was like, Florida, this is cool. All right, Ed. Okay, we'll work with this. It's all good. It's all good.
Yeah, should mention that Florida is the person who organizes all the readers at the rosters and everything.
Correct.
So she's done an amazing job, by the way. It's a lot of readers that have to get organized over the Easter period. So she's done great with that. Yeah. So actually, I thought it was good seeing you and Bernadette reading together, even though that's not the point of the gospel. But in a way, it's a special moment that you guys get to share as well as a couple, having Bernadette read the narration and you reading the other, while Father Michael's there in the middle doing the Jesus thing. I thought it was really good to see as well.
I liked how what's his name? Deacon. I always forget. Deacon Mario.
Deacon Mario. Yes. Yep.
Now when he said please kneel, he sang it.
Yes.
That was different.
Yes.
I was like that.
Yeah.
Please kneel. What was it?
Yeah.
Please stand. No, that was pretty good. And then I thought, Lindsay missed out.
Oh yes, Lindsay aren't usually the please kneel guy.
Can I say I don't mind missing out because now put it this way: when a lay person does it, people are distracted by that, and all they want to do is go and tell off the person who said please stand. Yeah. When a person, like whether when an ordained person does it, they forget see the layperson. They hear the prayers, which I think is better. And so then they can actually be engaged with what's going on rather than coming out later and saying, Lindsay, you made us kneel, you made us stand. And it's like, here's the rubric. You go read and see what it says to do. You know?
Can I put a side note in there very, very quickly?
Yeah.
Deacon Mario, so the baptism was his first baptism.
Oh,
The first one that
wow.
he performed.
Yeah, awesome.
Yeah.
And Father Michael was guiding him through that. But anyway, so that was another special
That's
part
good.
of it. Yeah.
He's a beautiful human being, Deacon Murray. So he's the deacon who's just been assigned to our parish recently.
Yeah.
My claim to fame is that Deacon Murray and I actually he was my last subject of my bachelor's degree. He was in that subject too. There you go. Still studying to be a deacon. So it was good to reconnect with him as well.
Nice.
Sorry,
Awesome.
Sorry, Caroline, I couldn't let you have all the credit. I needed to.
Oh, here we go. Oh, come on, guys. Come on. It's Easter.
Podcasts of sharing, isn't it?
That's right. Yeah. I was thinking more sibling rivalry, but that's all right. Yeah.
Spirit of Holy Week, I'm being nice.
Ooh.
I wanted to say that.
That's when,
I love the narrative gospel, so Palm Sunday from Mark's Gospel, and then this year anyway, and John's Gospel every Good Friday. I do love that narrative gospel, and I think it's good every year that we do hear it this way, because I think it's important that all of us as lay people, especially, that we pick up some of those nuances that are in there, because it's so easy to miss what Mark and John are going on about on one reading. But several readings, maybe over the years, and with some good preaching that's coupled with it, and even with lay people doing some scripture study themselves, you don't need to do a theology degree. You can just Google some of this stuff as well, because there are lots of great commentators like Bishop Barron and others who have written about these passages. And I think these passion narratives, that it's so important to see what's going on in them. And I only wanted to pick out one thing from John's Gospel. I'm not going to do from John's Passion. I can't take hours and hours to do a really well-deserved analysis of it. But I just wanted to pick up the symbolism of the word garden, because in the other Gospels, when Jesus prays in the garden, we think the Garden of Olives, because that's what it says. Where I've been there, by the way. I just wanted to throw that out there. Of the mouth. Sorry. Anyway, but in John's Gospel, he just says the garden. He doesn't say the Garden of Olives or anything. Yeah, exactly. And so what it is John spends a lot of time portraying Jesus in one aspect at least as as the one who restores creation. So we're meant to think, and even in the Jewish mind, they're meant to think of the garden. There is another garden that they're very aware of, and that's the Garden of Eden, and how it was paradise, and how that it was the symbolism of paradise on earth, and how that paradise had been destroyed by human foolishness, by human sin, and so on. So leading to us living in a world that's full of terrible things that happen. And so John says that Jesus is in the garden. So he's arrested in the garden. He prays in the garden, and it's the whole idea is that he's about to restore paradise from the garden. So he's arrested there. He's crucified, and when he's buried again, and I'm just going to find this passage very quickly from John's Gospel. So this is the burial of Jesus. And I'm just going to read just a couple of lines. They took the body of Jesus and wrapped it with spices in linen cloths, according to the burial custom of the Jews. Now there was a garden in the place where he was crucified, and in the garden there was a new tomb in which no one had ever been laid. So he was arrested in a garden. He was, according to John, symbolically at least, he was crucified in a garden, and then he rises from the dead in a garden as well. He restores in a sense, the Garden of he becomes, in a sense, what we're looking for in the Garden of Eden.
Great connection.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So it's through Jesus that we can experience the restoration, what it is that he's on about. So I thought that was really powerful. And I'm actually stealing some notes from the Word on Fire Bible. So, and I just wanted to read one thing that Bishop Robert Barron wrote as his commentary on the resurrection of Jesus. Because there's always, people say, maybe there was a grave robber that stole, Jesus' body and there was no resurrection. Because the empty tomb is our witness. Our witness of the resurrection, at least at the beginning, is the empty tomb. It's such a powerful symbol. So I thought, just as a reflection, it's very short, but I thought I might read Bishop Barron's commentary on the resurrection of Jesus. So it says the greatest grave robber. And if you want to read the scripture associated with this is John 20, 1-9. So about this passage, Bishop Barron says, St. John's narrative of the resurrection opens on the morning of the first day of the week. It is still dark, just the way it was at the beginning of time before God said, let there be light. But a light is about to shine, and a new creation is about to appear. The stone had been rolled away. That stone, blocking the entrance to the tomb of Jesus, stands for the finality of death. When someone we love dies, it is though a great stone is rolled across them, permanently blocking our access to them. And this is why we weep at death, not just in grief, but in a kind of existential frustration. But the stone had been rolled away. Undoubtedly, Mary Magdalene thought that a grave robber had been at work. The wonderful Johannine irony is that the greatest of grave robbers had indeed been at work. The Lord said to the prophet Ezekiel, I'm going to open your graves and bring you up from your graves. What was dreamed about, what endured as a hope against hope, has become a reality. God has opened the grave of his son. It's quite powerful stuff there. So it's really saying, God has pulled the rug out from under death. And, so when we talk about a grave robber, God did rob the grave. He robbed death of its power, and that power is with Christ. So of course we throw everything we have of ourselves to Jesus because he is our way, our truth, our life, etc. But he is the conqueror of sin and death, and if we want to move away from the maladies of the world and the problems that the world throws at us, Jesus is our answer. And not that those problems will be solved straight away in this life. We're always going to have illness, sickness, war, death, pandemics, etc. But Jesus is our guiding light through to navigate the darkness of the world, and to bring us through eventually to him. That's where we're heading for. So I thought that story of the grave robber and the symbolism of the garden, Jesus the restorer, everything was quite significant. That's what I was reflecting on, Lino, when you and Bernie were reading that narrative gospel yesterday. So there's a brief
Beautiful.
theology.
Love that.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Yeah, it's awesome, mate. Yeah, that totally makes sense. Yeah, wow.
Yeah. So let's move on, because otherwise, if we start your science segment too late, Caroline, we're going to run out of time because you've got a few things. So again, because we're having a casual episode, we're just talking about a few different topics today. So Caroline, now you, Lino, and I are sitting around the Easter table for symbolically for lunch, and topics of conversation come up, and Caroline's like, hey, I've got some science stuff to talk about. I'm like, please do tell. So Caroline, tell us. The first on your list is about perseverance, finding an unusual rock. I love how you wrote this, and zaps it. So tell us about the zapping of the unusual rock on Mars from the Perseverance rover.
Yeah, so I got a few little headlines for you this week. I just thought instead of doing one big topic, let me just go through a few updates on some things I've spoken about before. Yes, so Perseverance rover, bumbling along as it does on Mars, on the Martian
I can just imagine that now. It just bumbles along, yep.
It's a happy little thing in my mind. Anyway, going along. And
very scientific.
That's what I'm known for. And so while it's slowly making its way across the Martian surface, it's actually carrying the Ingenuity helicopter in its belly. And
cool.
I wanted to add as a side note before I mention the rock that it's the Ingenuity helicopter is slowly unpacking itself. So there was the shielding that's come off, and and slowly it's going to unpack, and then the rover's going to just drop it onto the surface. It's going to go boom.
Wow.
And it'll be,
cool.
It's going to drop it off to its landing site. But on the way, Perseverance doesn't slack off. No, we're looking at rocks. So it's found a rock recently. It's really cool photo, full color, amazing photo. So
Wow.
it's a kind of a bluish greyish holy rock, holy in the sense it's got a lot of holes in it. So before we get to April 8th, which is the proposed date for the Ingenuity helicopter having its first flight.
Oh, wow.
It's come across a rock, and it thought, let's have a little bit of a zap. So, and this was made known on the Perseverance rover Twitter account. So, it talks,
Yes.
it tweets as if it's itself. And, like the other missions, Curiosity likes to have a chat to us sometimes,
I love that. Yeah.
It's really good. So, yes, it's found this rock. It's about 6 inches or 15 centimeters long. And, it's got the SuperCam instrument on there, and it's given it a zap of about 18,000 degrees Fahrenheit, and does this so it can release some vapors, and then it's analyzed, and by the other instruments on board. So, and I've mentioned before the aim of this mission is to try and find some maybe biosignatures or microbial life or anything like that. So, so it's found that, it said, it's tweeted out, spot the row of laser marks where I zapped to learn more, and so they're going to try and find out what this rock is made of. So, it's just happened very recently, so anything that comes out will probably come out very soon about this rock. That's pretty cool. And Perseverance actually carries a little slice of Martian meteorite that was, brought back before. And so it has like a bit of it's in its calibration target. So it has something to refer to. So if it is a Martian rock, they'll go, oh, yeah, this is the same signature of this kind of Martian rock.
Gotcha.
And it's held in its Sherlock instrument, and which is a scanning habitable environments with Raman luminescence for organics and chemicals instrument. So that's what Sherlock stands for.
Who comes up with these names? They're amazing.
I don't know, but they rearrange it really well, don't they?
Yeah, they do.
Come up with a name.
Cool.
Yeah, so a bit of Mars has been taken back to Mars. So yeah, it's done a bit of zapping, and
Nice.
that's pretty interesting. Another rock they've had a zap of a bit earlier on is one called Mars, spelled M-A with an accent A-Z. It was
Mars.
analysed.
Right.
Mars.
That was named by an
Mars.
Australian. Yeah,
Mars.
that was named by Mars.
Yeah.
Mars. Yeah.
And they found this one was made from basalt, igneous, or volcanic rock, and it may have washed down the river into the Jezero Lake, where the Perseverance rover landed, and maybe they're cemented together. So they're getting information already with zapping. Yeah, so that was interesting. Can't wait to hear more about Perseverance and Ingenuity helicopter.
Ingenuity. Yeah. Is there a rough timeline of when Ingenuity, the helicopter, will go for a bit of a flight? Do we know yet?
Yeah, they're hoping April 8th.
April 8th.
Like I mentioned before, that it's just doing all its unfolding and preparing. It's got to do it slowly. It's shown videos and photos. So you can go and look up the stages. At the moment its little legs are sticking out, and they'll go and find a good launch space for it.
Oh,
So
wow.
it's not going to be recovered by the rover, my understanding. It's just going to have its spot where it takes off from, flies around, and goes back to that spot, and then does the same thing. Is that the idea?
Yeah, so it's just testing.
They call it the airfield or something.
Yes, that's it. And I mean, I guess it depends on if they manage to get it to fly, first of all, because, there are conditions on Mars that can possibly damage the instruments. So, the freezing and everything. It's kind of an off-the-shelf thing I've mentioned before. It's not like specially, it's not that well protected. And the Martian atmosphere is very thin, so it's a little bit different to Earth, even though they have designed it so it could fly in that kind of an atmosphere. So, probably it will succeed. And then I guess they'll just be testing how to fly on Mars, or, getting telemetry back, what they experience in flying. Yes.
I just want to see the scientists going, give me the remote. No,
Yeah,
it's
yeah,
my
I
turn.
wanna
It's
fly
my
it.
turn.
That's going to be,
I wanna fly
because
it.
there's a bit of a time delay between getting, sending instructions and getting the information back. So that'll be interesting to see how they go about that. And it's only a few days away, because what are we, April 3rd? So
Yeah, that's right. Not long to go.
yeah, so really in the final stages of prep now. So it's
I cannot wait to see aerial footage of
I was
flying
gonna
over Mars
say,
like a
that'll
drone.
be awesome.
that would be amazing.
Yeah.
So, so Caroline, is this automated, or like you said, is someone controlling it from us, from Earth, or is
That
it
is a
just going to be automatic?
good question. I expect they will be doing what they do with the other instruments, which would be sending a list of commands and then waiting to hear back. I think that's really the only way that they can do it. Unless they've got something pre-programmed and they just press the button and it happens. I mean,
Programs.
yeah, that's a good question.
Oh wow! Can you imagine that to try to type in? It's like back in the us high school days. What was it called?
Like
What's it called? C double
C++.
C++.
that one I didn't do.
You know, what was it called? It's like coding, program coding.
Coding.
You know,
Do you remember Logo Rider with the turtle?
Oh yes, I can imagine.
LT90, yeah.
90, yeah. I dealt with people probably do the same. Hey Caroline, they'll probably go altitude at this kind of thing, and have to be very precise if they have to move the helicopter up and down to make sure it turns the right way around.
Yeah, no, they've got some very intelligent, genius people working on this, and I cannot wait to see the results.
It'll be awesome the flight. Yeah, I can just imagine.
Speaking of intelligent, genius people and trying to actually get to Mars, so SpaceX, we know it's a testing program, but they had a little bit of a setback with SN11. So
this is fun.
Yeah, so tell us about and look, we're not knocking them because we know that this is a testing program and they're collecting valuable data and they're going to make an amazing rocket that's going to blow everyone's minds when it finally gets to orbit.
Hope not.
Yeah. No, well, it's blowing up already without anyone's help. So, Caroline, tell us about the Starship testing campaign and the latest attempt with SN11.
Yeah, so we watched SN11 this week. I'm just going to be cheeky here and say I'm kind of enjoying seeing the different ways and different types of explosions at a very expensive rocket.
Mythbusters never got anywhere near this level of awesomeness.
I don't think that budget can handle it, man. It's like, we're going to go $1 million rocket. Yeah.
Elon Musk is like, you blow up a concrete mixer. Look what I could do.
Look at me spending lots of millions and blowing up a cool-looking rocket each time. So we had SN9 that took off, land and exploded on landing, didn't it? And then
SN8 exploded on landing.
Oh yeah.
SN9 came down a bit sideways.
Oh, yes, it came down sideways.
Yeah.
That's right. SN10 landed was a little bit sideways and then fell over and blew up, basically.
Yeah. Did you see when it landed, it bounced? There was a little bounce there.
Oh, was there? I didn't know.
It was actually, so the velocity was, its landing velocity, although the landing looked good, its velocity was too fast.
Yes.
So it's actually miraculous in a sense that it actually landed on the ground and didn't explode sooner, but it kind of landed, there was a tiny bounce, and then it kind of had that tilt to the side.
It had the tilt, and I thought, well, I'm going to keep watching because that's not good. And
that's right. And then boom, boom.
And SN11 took off, was good. It flew up, did the belly flop, bit of a horizontal flight, came back vertical, down, blow up. That's it. And it blew up. It didn't even get to make it. Okay. And I tell you, that's such a good debris field. Oh my goodness.
Oh wow, isn't it? Oh, so I don't know if you've so there are lots of fans and enthusiasts who have been allowed to set up their cameras within the danger zone.
Oh my god!
Obviously, not be there, but they set them up automatically. So
the cameras
they've been allowed to set up and then move out. Like SpaceX actually lets them do this. That they have permission from Elon Musk to do it. Yeah. And so clearly, this launch, it was completely foggy. So the only footage of the actual flight you could see was firstly the engines firing up in the fog, and then SpaceX's cameras when it was above the fog.
Huh? Great views.
So seeing inside the engines and the flaps. But once we got to the last moment, SpaceX's camera obviously cut out, so you couldn't see the explosion. And then from the point of view of the fans' cameras, all you could see was debris flying everywhere.
That's right.
Oh my goodness.
And SpaceX were saying, and another exciting flight.
Yes, that's right, he did.
He was half giggling when he was saying
exciting
flight. But of course we get, it's the successful. They tell you what was successful about it, and then they tell you we can't wait to get the information back from this for the next flight. But my favorite, I shouldn't say maybe favorite, but a good view was one that I watched was they had a time lapse. So the rocket took off and then they slowed it down just before it blew up in the sky, and there was a tree nearby, and when it blew up, it just went, it just blew the tree. It was just, you could see the leaves all blowing one way, and then debris raining down from the sky, and then they just panned out and showed the debris field. It was, oh my gosh. So, I know these are serious test flights, but, entertaining at the same time.
Entertaining, yeah, correct. We get a bit of fun. There's a Twitter account, I think it's Twitter, RGV Aerial Photography, and it's a guy who flies in his plane over the over Boca Chica, over they call it the Starbase now. That's their So he's allowed to, obviously, otherwise he'd be in big trouble. So he does frequent flights over the Boca Chica Starbase, as it's called, and he takes photos, like really high quality photos. Well, obviously when the airspace is open, not any other time. He's smart about it. So he did take photos after the fog had cleared, and it was a bit messy. There's a bit of debris everywhere.
Bit of debris, yes.
Clean up crew.
Oh yeah, for sure. And I know that Elon Musk has been butting heads with the FAA there. No, they must have been having heart attacks after this one.
Oh my gosh! I was thinking, like, what if it explodes in the air? And it did. And I was like, what happens if everything just goes everywhere?
Yeah, that's exactly what happens.
How far does it spread out?
Yeah.
But this is controlled. They could have controlled. Yeah.
Yeah, this is steps along the journey because, like I said, once you see a Starship attached to a super heavy booster, first of all, the size is going to be incomprehensible, and then if that thing gets to orbit and we see it, it's going to be like watching a Star Trek or a Star Wars episode. To be honest,
it's already
going to be
unbelievable.
Yeah.
So Caroline,
itself
with the booster, they've done the Falcon will do that. Would it? Will they put the ship on top of the Falcon as a booster?
So they've got the booster and then the ship on top, isn't it?
Yeah, so the booster's all good to go. Is that? Are we still testing that out as well?
Everything's being tested.
Although the booster is different, it's not a Falcon booster. It's it's a whole
Raptor?
New one.
Which one?
So the Raptor is the engine that they use,
the
but the
Raptor
booster.
Gotcha.
That's the engines.
They
The
haven't
booster's just
done
been
the
called
boosters
BN1.
yet, have they?
No, so BN1 has been constructed, but it's not going to fly. It's just going to be for testing. So they're gonna move it out. They've got an orbital launch pad that's, I think it's almost ready to go. But go, Lino.
Yeah, that's what I was asking because we're doing the ship. Then they were talking about the booster. So they've tasted the booster to make sure that does explode as well.
Well, you don't want a double bang.
They do.
Yeah, true.
It may do a double bang.
If the booster exploded, just imagine something twice or three times as.
It wouldn't be a good thing at all. Would be bad.
You wouldn't want that thing to
would
explode.
have to have not a ton of fuel literally, but a lot of fuel in it.
Yeah, you would have to you'd have to think of a Saturn V exploding on the pad or something. That's how serious it would. Yeah, we wouldn't want to see that happen. Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah. So the booster is I forgot how big it is, but once a Starship is stacked on it, I think it will be taller than a Saturn V.
Yeah.
And what they've got planned is that when the booster comes into land, like the Falcon rockets do, it won't land on the ground. The tower is actually going to catch it with these two arms that come around and.
Oh my goodness me!
So
wow,
it is sci-fi to the max. Yeah.
Wow.
And then they I think Elon Musk was saying he wanted to have them like regular flights, so he'd have a few of them, not just one, and then they'd be coming and going from the moon first, I think, and then Mars. I think that was his idea. So
wow!
Just like you'd catch a plane to another country, you just catch a Starship off to Mars, and then come back on, the same one.
I can imagine
you guys
Terminal,
see that?
hey? Just as Terminal 1, go to Mars.
Yeah,
that's right. Terminal 1 to the 2 to the moon. Yeah.
To the moon. Terminal 1, 2 to the moon. Yep.
But it seriously, because they did you see that he's purchased 2 oil rigs as well? They're going to be converted into launch platforms.
That's right.
Cool.
So Deimos and Phobos, they're named after the moons of Mars. Yeah. But I think he's envisioning even a worldwide transport system where within the space of an hour or less, you could go from one continent to another as well. So
that would be
he's got some big
much
plans.
Better way to get to Malta than doing it the way we do. I would take a Starship to Malta. I would.
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't think there's anywhere on Malta to actually land a starship. Would definitely have to be
but you
out
could
at
put
sea.
an oil rig off the coast.
An oil rig, yeah. It'd have to
And then
be
catch a boat
a
over.
sea platform, yeah.
Yeah, just
Yeah.
put a sea platform, right there near
Yeah.
Malta. You'll be fine.
That'd be a much better way than spending 20 whatever hours it is in flight.
Yeah. Oh,
on a
flights.
trip from Australia up to Europe.
Exactly right.
Anyway, I've got one more little topic for you.
Go for it.
So I've spoken about the Mars Insight mission before. So it's a little weather station that's sitting on Mars. It doesn't rove around; it kind of just sits there. And
Yep.
got weather sensors and a seismometer on it. So recently, it's just detected 2 sizable Mars quakes. So one was 3.3 and the other was 3.1 magnitude, happening on March 7th and March 18th. And this is pretty exciting because in this same region, there was a 3.6 and 3.5 magnitude earthquake measured a while ago. And it's originated in a region called Cerberus Fossae. And so they've been studying this area to see if it's actually seismically active, and this just adds to the evidence that it's probably a seismically active area.
Wow.
And so it's just further information to understanding the mantle and core of Mars and really studying the planet at depth. So I just thought that was an interesting follow-up for the InSight mission. It's still there. The weather data is looking good on the website. I think last time some of the graphs had no information on there, but now it's all up there. It's pretty cool. So go check out the Mars Insight mission on the NASA website. Go look up the mission there through NASA and go check out Mars. Go check out the temperature and everything.
It's an actual
Marsquake.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right.
Can I just say, Caroline, I just love how in your spare time you go and read graphs about the weather on Mars to see what the temperature's like.
Oh,
and stuff.
do you mean you guys don't?
Yeah.
If you're going to be going there one day, don't you want to know what to pack?
Know what the weather
I
is.
want to know if I need sunscreen or something. You know, I mean,
You
just
will
a
need
spacesuit
a
would be
lot of sunscreen. I think you need your space suit.
Spacesuit, well, definitely. Definitely. Your sunnies. Yep.
Yeah.
Well,
Yes.
I've got this idea to make a ton of money once it's all started, so don't tell anyone. I know I'm podcasting out to the world here, but
Keep it quiet
I was
for you.
thinking that I'm going to purchase a bit of land on Mars, like get one of the first ones to get in, and I'm going to open like a restaurant, cafe kind of place. I'm going to call it the Mars Bar. You're welcome. You're welcome, everyone. Happy Easter. You're welcome.
Oh, wow.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
No comment. I can't even say anything to that.
Oh, you talked to the other. What was the last podcast I said, Lindsay?
What's that?
Oh, last podcast was totally Interstellar.
Oh yeah, that's right. Because
we were talking about the movie. Oh, okay,
yeah,
okay.
Interstellar.
Lindsay, let me just tell you though that the food there better be out of this world.
As well.
Oh no,
Caroline.
Oh no. Oh wow.
I applaud that one.
Thank
I like that one.
You're welcome.
Yep.
Yeah. I got nothing to respond. Happy Easter, everyone.
God, Lino, surely you've got one.
No, I've got one for later on.
Okay.
Sorry, we'll wait,
We'll
Lino. That's
finish
okay.
up.
We'll just wait for a joke to. Oh dear. All right. So the last thing we wanted to quickly mention today, and in case you haven't heard it, we don't want to spoil too much, but at time of recording, at least anyway, the most recent episode of Jimmy Akin's Mysterious World featured the three of us. We were part of that show, just lending our voices to some of that. And we were talking about, I think we're allowed to say some mysterious Australian cryptids. We're allowed to mention it that way, aren't we? It was, yeah. And so I think we learned a lot. We enjoyed contributing, and Jimmy, I think, gave the topic a fair appraisal, don't you think? A fair analysis?
Oh, it was very thoroughly researched as always, and I learned things that I didn't even know about the topic. So amazing.
Yeah. So we encourage everyone to listen to the episode. I think it's is it just called Drop Bears? I think is that right? Yeah.
Fearsome Australian drop bear, killer koalas? Question mark.
Yes. All right. So
Definitely
so please.
one to check out.
So check it
Not
out.
just
and
'cause
you can
we're
learn
on
some
it.
more about that.
Yes.
Yeah. Or maybe
Collaboration.
Just because yeah. It was, it was a fun collaboration, and thank you.
Yep.
Thank you to
Thank you
Jimmy
very
and
much.
Dom for thinking of us and for giving us a go. It was a lot of fun. Should we do our behind the scenes complaint and talk about how many times we had to do our recordings before we got it right? Or
Wait, giving away the secret.
Yes, probably not.
So I was looking at Jimmy's script and I thought, yeah, I can read this, no worries. So I'm reading this paragraph, and then suddenly, I don't know, I'd just be like, oh, I make a mistake. I don't know how I don't know how they managed to get through a show without fumbling and
Yes.
bumbling all the time.
Oh my goodness. I
Yeah.
kept tripping over words and going, do it
Yeah.
again. Tripping
Yeah.
over. Oh, I didn't like the intonation on that one. Redo
Yes,
it.
Yeah.
me too.
Yeah.
Me too.
It was
Yes.
super fun though. Then I ended up knowing it off by heart by the end. I read it so many times.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Yeah.
true. That is true.
I love the what was the scientific name for do you remember what it was?
Yes,
the Latin name for, so it was something plummetus. Yeah, it was such a great
Plummetus.
name.
Yeah, I like
Yeah,
that.
I love that. Yeah, yeah. So I had to read. I think I had to read that part. I was trying not to
Yes.
laugh so hard at
Yeah.
that name. It was so good. Yeah.
Great. It was
So
great.
yeah, a lot of fun. I was very happy to share that episode with everyone, and we'll try to make sure we put a link in the show notes in case you haven't had a chance to listen to it yet. All right, so I think that's it for today, guys.
Yeah.
Unless there's anything else we wanted to talk about.
Yes,
We've
just a quick thing. Let's wrap up
Yep.
with say how we're going to spend Easter tomorrow quickly.
Yes. All right. Well, Lino, Caroline and I are going to have the same Easter mostly. So, Lino, what are you doing first of all?
So we're traveling to the west, so there's sunshine, and then we
Yep.
come back to the southeast to my brother's place here, which they are about 5 minutes away from us, so it's not too bad.
Nice.
So we go to the sunshine in the morning, and then come back to the southeast in the nighttime. So if we have a bit of too many frigolis and too many drinks and all that stuff, I can always crawl myself back home here and it'll take about 10 minutes to walk across, so it's okay.
Very
That
good.
works really
But,
well. Yeah.
But yeah, I'd like to say a happy Easter, everyone, and take care. And this year it has been very special for us. Last year, I can't believe it's been a year. Even I was looking at my phone, and our iPhones guys would tell us it happened this year, a year ago. This
Yes.
happened here.
Yes.
And last time, was it Easter Saturday? Antonio was just doing all the music. And he was doing it as there was no one except the choir.
Streaming,
And,
yeah.
it was so-
Live streaming. Yeah.
I can't believe it's going past so fast. And it's great to come back to our community and to the church and meeting everyone and going through all the registrations and the QR codes. That's something else.
That's okay.
I'm not
More
going to
price
go
to
through
pay.
that. That's necessary.
Yeah.
It has to be, sadly. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was good to just come back together again and come back
Yeah.
to the church. So it was great. It's awesome. Mm-hmm.
As our good friend Archbishop Peter Comensoli had said recently, we're coming out of exile again, and it's an
exactly.
important, yeah,
Exactly.
and these are the fruits of it, is that we get our communities back. We get to. So I remember last year, Caroline, you and I, and we'll talk about what we're doing tomorrow in a moment, but
Yeah.
remember we had Easter online. We had a Skype, and everyone cooked
Yes.
their own meals, and we put our
Yes.
our dining tables in
Cool.
front of the cameras, so we could all kind of eat together. Yeah, that's what we did. But now we get to spend Easter physically together.
That's
so,
right. So
Yeah.
nice.
So Caroline, apart from getting fat on some lovely Maltese Fagoli, what else? What are you doing first of all?
Well, I am starting with the Figoli decorating today, actually.
Ooh,
And,
nice.
So
Yeah.
it's the traditional Maltese Easter sweet that we make every year. I didn't make it last year because it is full of sugar and butter, and I just couldn't make a small
All
enough
the good
amount.
stuff.
Yes, so
Mm.
this year I'm making it for everyone. And so I'll be spending it with you, I guess, Lindsay.
Yeah.
And the rest of our family.
together. Yep.
Yes.
Making lots of Maltese noise. Yep.
That's right. Mum wants to make a lunch for us, and then we'll all get together, our 4 siblings and parents and our children. So we'll have a little family gathering. And at Mum's, and I still will come to my place and eat as much figoli as we can
Absolutely. Yeah, that's right.
with a
Yep.
cup of tea. Oh, I'm going to do. Are you doing an Easter egg hunt? We're going to do one for the boys and me.
Let's do one. Why not? Yeah. So after all that happens and I'm passing out from a food coma, we're then going to go to Isabel's parents' house.
Yes.
So my wife, for those who don't know, we're going to go to the in-laws and celebrate an Easter dinner there.
Yeah.
So probably
And
a bit
they're
more food
expecting figoli too, so
Yeah, so we'll
don't
take the
let me
figoli.
forget to give them
Yes.
to you to take over.
We'll be the figoli ambassadors, and
Yes.
we'll bring it over, or the courier, yeah.
Ambassador, I like the ambassador.
Merging the Maltese and the Mauritian families together that way.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes.
Yeah.
Peace offering.
Yeah. Something like
My
like that.
yearly
Yeah.
offering it is, yeah.
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 And I'm pretty sure there's an Easter. So Jennifer, my sister-in-law, she'll definitely be organising an Easter egg hunt for the children there. So
Yeah.
lots of Easter eggs for the kids will be full of chocolate tomorrow. We're gonna.
Let me tell you.
Yeah, they're eating carrot sticks for the rest of the week after this.
And don't mean to drag the episode on longer, but I got some Easter eggs from work. So I went into the office for the first time on Thursday, and there was a nice bag of Easter eggs sitting on my desk. I thought, oh, that's nice. I'll share that out for the kids. Then they had a raffle, and I won another one, same size.
Oh, nice.
So I went home. I was like, oh, yes, I'll give them, a bag each. When I got home, they're like, we had an Easter egg hunt, and they both had bags of Easter eggs each.
Oh, my gosh, overload.
And
wow.
I already bought Easter eggs to give them and to do an Easter egg hunt. So it's like, I don't think we need to worry about it. There's so much
you don't have to go buy any more chocolate. You're covered. Yeah.
No, that's it. And,
yeah, literally.
Oh my gosh. So yeah, we're gonna have. I think we still have a few from last year. So I think this is gonna happen again. We are just overloaded.
Wow. Yeah. Well, it's not really a big problem to have too much chocolate because you can never have enough. So
that is
I think that's okay.
So true.
Yeah.
It is.
That's it.
It is.
That's
it. Awesome.
Anyway.
All right. Well, so that's what we're doing for Easter. I hope that all of you, by the time you listen, your Easter celebrations would be over, but I hope your celebrations went well. But remember that we're also in the Easter season as well. So Easter isn't over on a day. We carry Easter in our hearts, and we have the traditional greeting of He is risen indeed. And let's remember that what does it come back to? It comes back to Christ is risen. We celebrate that. And we head on our journey towards Christmas now as we anticipate Christ in our hearts even more and more. So before we go, we would love to take a moment to thank all of our patrons and wish them a happy Easter this time as well. They make it possible for us to create the Catholics of Oz and to continue to produce this show. So today, it is our pleasure to thank Emily W., Joe K., Guy N., Paula K., and Keith M. Through their generous donations at sqpn.com/give, they make it possible for the Catholics of Oz and all of the other shows on StarQuest to continue, including Jimmy Akin's Mysterious World, which we were a guest on. Just to throw that in there. You can join them by visiting sqpn.com/give. And now is a great time to become a StarQuest patron. Thanks to a generous gift from a StarQuest supporter, when you start a new patron monthly pledge at sqpn.com/give, the first 3 months will be matched by an equal amount from our donor. So if you become a new patron at $10 per month, for example, after 3 months, our donor will give $30 to StarQuest to support all of our shows, including this one, making your gift go even further. So if you've been thinking about becoming a StarQuest patron, now would be a great time. So visit sqpn.com/give today. We'd love to know your thoughts about today's show. It was a nice, simple Easter episode, but how did you celebrate Easter with your loved ones? And what did you pick up from the Easter Triduum? What have you learnt this year from listening to the Gospels on Palm Sunday and on Good Friday, or anything else? What have you picked up? We would love to know and for you to share your spirituality with us. It's a very important thing for us on this show. So you can send us feedback by visiting sqpn.com/Oz, and you can find any show notes or links from the show there as well. We are also, don't forget that all of our shows are posted on the sqpn.com Facebook page at facebook.com/StarQuestMedia. And also, we have our own Facebook page, and we'd love for you to come and join us and share in the conversation there at facebook.com/Catholics of Oz, spelt OZ. So join us in discussing our latest episodes there. We can also be reached by email at catholicsofOz@sqpn.com. Caroline, happy Easter, and thank you so much for being on the show today.
Happy Easter to you and to all our listeners, and thank you very much.
So there's an awkward pause there. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I thought you had more to say.
I have to. You know what? The kids are over here, and I'm just listening out to see if they're going to barge in the door. Happy Easter to you both, and to all our listeners. So, yes, see you next podcast.
Yeah, just for all of our listeners, Caroline, I can see her. She has one ear on her listening to the podcast, and she's got one on her kids.
and I'm covering
about to break the door down.
I'm covering the microphone because I don't know if you can hear all their shouting. Yes,
We'll call it the
behind
Easter
the
joy.
scenes. Yeah.
Wow, this is a long goodbye.
Sorry, guys.
That's all right. And of course, Lino, happy Easter to you and to your loved ones as well. And thanks for being on the show today.
Happy Easter, everyone. You to you, Lindsay, and to Caroline and all your extended family and everyone. This episode it totally rocks.
Yes.
There it is.
Got
There it
it.
is. Round of applause for
Excellent.
Lino. I'm going to clap into my
Well
microphone.
done. Yes, well
I don't know
done.
what that sounds like, but yeah.
Yeah.
Well
It's like
done.
Mars zapping.
All right. Lino, I hand the bad jokes mantle back to you, my friend.
Yes,
You-
you've got it.
I would crown you with
no.
it and let you keep it for a bit longer.
Love that.
For as long as possible.
Fantastic.
All right, and once again, I'm Lindsay Sants, wishing you all, on behalf of the StarQuest Network and, of course, the Catholics of Oz, a very, very happy and holy Easter. And we do hope, I should say, that you and your loved ones, wherever you are, do enjoy Easter and the celebration of Easter. And we pray that the risen Christ will be in your hearts and inspire you to be foot washers as we go from this Easter to the next one. So God's blessings on all of you. Thank you so much, as always, for listening to the Catholics of Oz on StarQuest.